Good day, students. Today we're going to look at another in the series of video solutions to different problems in your Math 1025 booklets. This comes from page 83, and it's converting fractions to decimals, to percents, and so on. So this is page 83 of your text, of your first booklet. Now, let's talk about converting, and there's a chart in your book like this. It talks about how to convert for the different depending on what you're doing, right? For example, if you're going from fraction to decimal, notice the arrow here, right? Then you divide. Just divide by the top number by the bottom number on your calculator. In other words, numerator over denominator. Just do it out on your calculator. It's quite easy. So that's probably the easiest one because you can do that directly. When going from a decimal to a percent, which is another common one, you multiply by 100. So decimal to percent, multiply by 100. Now going the other way, percent to decimal, so if I go this way, obviously I do the opposite, right? So this one here, I'm going to divide by 100, aren't I? Going that way. Let's write that in. It's not written in there. So you divide by 100 going this way. And from decimal to a fraction, right, then you put it over, if it's one decimal place, put it over 10 and reduce. If it's two decimal places, put it over 100 and reduce. So you're either going to put it over 10 if it's one decimal place, put it over 100 if it's two decimal places, put it over, right, 1,000, drop the decimal point and put it over 1,000 and reduce, and so on, right? So they are, if it's four decimal places, 10,000. So that's basically what we do. Now, so doing all that requires us now to do a bit of practice, okay? So let's do that. Okay, let's do a bit of practice here. Alright, so this is page 83. Now the first couple are starts with percents, and we have to put them in decimal format and then in fraction format. Okay, so let's go at that one. How do we change from a percent to a decimal? Now percent, remember what percent means? Out of 100, right? So percent to decimal, you're going to divide by 100. So it's 0.8 divided by 100. Okay. Now 0.8 over 100, and you can use your calculator if you're still not sure how to do that. That's going to move the decimal place back 2 places. But you can jump to your calculator if you're unsure about the place of the decimal. Whoops. And you can see it moves the decimal place back 2 places. So the answer to this one is 0.008. Okay. How do I do that to a fraction? So again, I can either do it, there's several ways. I can take 0.008, and because it's 3 decimal places, right, you count 1, 2, 3, I put the number, take away the decimal and put it over, if it's 3 decimal places, put it over 1,000. Okay, so if it's 3 decimal places, over 1,000. And now reduce. Again, 8, you can divide each by 8 to reduce. So this one would be divide by 8. 8 divided by 8 is 1. And 1,000 divided by 8, if you're not sure what that is, 1,000 divided by 8 leaves us with 125. So the first two answers are 0.008 as a decimal and 1 over 125 as, okay, as a fraction. And again, you could have done that on a calculator. You could have put in 0.008, okay, and math, enter, and we'll change it for you. Okay, but if you have to show your work, anytime you have to show your work, remember, anytime you have to do this, you still have to know the steps. Calculator is not good enough. Okay. Alright, let's go on to the next one. 142%. Again, remove the percent sign. Percent means out of 100. and then divide that on your calculator. Dividing by 100 moves the decimal place left 2 places. So this is the same as 1.42. Okay? So there's your answer for that one. There's the decimal. Now take 142 over 100 and reduce it. Now you can see they're both even, so you can divide by 2. If I divide each by 2, what will I get? So if I divide 2 and divide 2, I get 71, is it? Over 50, and I don't think that reduces anymore. And again, check them on your calculator if you're not sure. Alright, so 142 divided by 100, enter, and then math, enter, enter, to change that 71 over 50. Alright, so there's the answer to the second one. Now, in the next two, we're given the decimal, and we have to go both ways. We have to go to percent that way, fraction this way. So how do we do that? Okay, how do we go from a decimal to a percent? Decimal to a percent, you multiply by 100. So this one is going to be 2.4 times 100, or, right, so when it's greater than 1, it's going to change to over 100%. Remember, 1 times 100 is 100%. 2 times 100 will be 200%. So 2.4 will be 240%. All right, so that one is 240%. How do we do the fraction? We do 2.4, so it's 24. How many decimal places? 1. 1 decimal place, so you put it over 10 and reduce. They're both even. Divide by 2. Dividing the top and bottom here by 2. What do I get? I get 24 divided by 2 is 12 over 5. So there's my answer as, okay. Alright, next one gives me 0.0025. Change it to a percent. You multiply by 100, which is going to be 0.25%. So that's pretty easy. How many decimal places? 0.0025. Oh, I don't need the decimal. 4 decimal places, so 25 over 4 zeros, which is 10,000. 4 decimal places, 4 zeros. Now, divide each by what? Looks like they're both divisible by 25. And again, 10,000 divided by 25, we can check that on our calculators. All of this can be checked on your calculator. So it looks to be 1 over 400. 1 over 400. Okay, so again, not too bad. And again, you can check this on your calculator. Decimal 0.0025. Math, enter, enter, changes it to a fraction. Alright, and the last two examples have fractions going to decimals and percents. Now, changing a fraction to a decimal is quick as a calculator can do it. 2 divided by 3. Top divided by bottom. Now you notice it's a repeating decimal, so write it as a repeating decimal unless you're told to do otherwise. So 0.6. Repeating, the bar goes over the number that repeats. And don't mind the last 7 because the calculator rounds off. Okay, after 10 decimal places, so, or 12, 10 I think. Alright, now how do you go from here to here? You multiply by 100. So it's going to be, if I multiply 2/3 by 100, remember that's 0.6666 repeating times 100, so it's going to be 66.6 repeating percent. In other words, 2/3. Okay. Now 3 2/5. A couple of ways to tackle that, but some people can do it 3 5s are 15 plus 2. Change it to improper if you want. You don't have to. 17 over 5, and then do it on your calculator. 17 divided by 5, which is 3.4. You knew it was going to be 3 point whatever 2/5 was, which is 4. And then of course going this way, multiply by 100. 3.4 times 100. Remember, 1 is 100%. 2 is 200%. 3 would be 300%. So 3.4 multiplied by 2, it makes sense that that's 340%. So there's your answers for a couple of practice of changing percent, decimals, and fractions. That's it for now.